Alright, we got paired. Go e4. There is no door. 2 to 4, 2 to 5, 4. 15-10 again. They're going into the Caro-Kann. What's our dealie of the day? Let's go something mainline-ish. I don't know. We still have options here. Whatever we do. Kind of curious they're waiting there. Advance, knight c3, knight d2, fantasy, something else, takes and let's take. And then decide between Panov or the real proper closed Sicilian. Closed Sicilian, Panov. Let's go with the closed. If there, well, normal move, hits my pawn, I'll defend. I mean, this is the expected reply. And let's play the squeeze the squeezeroni. So h3. Playing against this bishop, which is now denied some squares. He plays the most aggressive setup, e5. Well, I don't think we have any options. I don't think I want the pawn to forward, so takes. And here, I think the theory goes like a kind of curious knight f3 of the takes. Was there a funny line here? These tend to be like, they look promising. There's also queen e2, which is kind of, well, pretty much forces the queen e7. Then you can throw in the checks here. I think we go here. And then they'll take, this looks so very funny. Giving out the light squared bishop. But somehow that just is the best. So castle seems logical here. They're playing like a, into the, basically I guess they could now prevent the pin, but the way he's playing so fast and how this is going, I expect them to sack the d5, which is quite dangerous actually, going to take the pawn. No, I can't remember. There's also some way that you can play safely here, but I mean the queen, bishop e3 is the other line, bishop g5 is the aggressive line, but the problem is that the black side is gonna be the aggressive side there. Should we steal the pawn and just try to defend there? I mean, they don't of course have to. Let's go there and see what happens. They don't of course have to sack the pawn. They could do something like bishop e6, but they do. So there's options. I could now take the pawn, or I could retreat, keep the pin. Take. Rook d8. I'll retreat. g5. Well, sack time or go here. I'll go here. I guess I remove that if they take. They seem to be very, very booked up. There is a somewhere some another Ditsky, maybe in the speedrun series where he takes there and or he plays the black side and the opponent takes there and takes the pawn. All right, so he wants to go and have a square there. I suppose it's fine. So if I take the bishop, he's gonna take and then plunk a knight there where it actually defends backwards and it's like looks a bit menacing. Should I now pick up my pawn? He's gonna get a pawn back here. I don't know, some trades happen somewhere. So takes. Somehow I feel like takes that way is better. Not sure actually. Maybe taking this way is actually better and have the bishop here in the endgame. Have a bishop pair. Gets the pawn back. Maybe I have to trade the queens there. That line like here. Let's say knight takes. I'll take. There is no discovery this way and check because my queen takes the bishop. There is of course check there. I should also look at hitting there maybe. Just probably sack that. Yeah, it's probably a little too risky to go for the rook here or by black side. But even the worst case takes. I mean, I guess I don't have to, but then the check is also threatened. Like I was gonna say, I don't have to trade the queens. Like if I play here, maybe check. King here, maybe takes. All kind of bishops here, kind of funky. I could defend this by moving the knight somewhere like here. They could plunk somebody here. I'll probably take it, but well, I was gonna say I'll take it if it's the knight. Somehow I feel like I can't stand the knight there, but bishop I could somehow tolerate. Even though that probably is also dangerous with some kind of a some point he drops the bishop back and does the battery there and goes here and but I have to have a problem is that the bishop is always here, so I can't really even block the battery there. Should I can't take and play g3, of course, for the same reason. Well, yowza yowza. If I do a developing move, then okay, actually, let's say I take and play a developing move, then the knight here, and here I'm gonna even stick the queen here or go something funny like b5. What's the point even? So takes, 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 takes. Knight bd2. I don't know. I'll take here and see what happens. Who cares? Maybe they'll do something completely different. You live and learn. But if I was gonna take, maybe I should have taken it instantly at this moment. That's so dangerous too, though. That is very dangerous too, though. Like your queen is here and the bishops are bearing down here and there, and there is also the stuff like you sometimes get the bishop there, so it's always dangerous. Always danger. Well, here's an option. I mean, I feel like taking there is kind of obvious, but of course, yeah, I don't think there's any point of going there instead of taking here. Of course, they could have some kind of like a bishop here move. I'll take here, maybe rook in. Oh, wait, never mind. This is attacked. Of course, he can't move, so he has to deal with this. Bishop takes, I guess takes. Well, still lose a pawn. But I was gonna lose the pawn anyways here, so it's not really a matter. Does he take here in between or not? Or do I? Well, this is pretty much forced, so I get my piece back. He can take here, or he can let me take here and get the pawn. I think taking here makes more sense, to be honest. Somehow the knight is very annoying there. Very annoying. Rook e8. But hopefully, like I'm hoping that I could somehow like kick the knight away, and so something like rook takes, pawn takes, knight takes. I have to move the rook. Can't go to d file. E file is open. We go there. Also cover some checks here. I don't know. They'll develop the bishop somewhere, maybe here, so it supports the knight here, possibly. I have to take my piece back. He has to take the pawn. Well, he doesn't have to, but it's a free pawn. I don't think I have any options here. We have a nice square here for a knight. I could also, well, I don't know which way we do it. I don't hate my knights. I don't hate my knights. I hate their knight here. That's the only major drawback for me. But I was like, maybe I can pull that off. They could, of course, now play the f4, f5, f4, and plunk that knight really hard there. And then I have to somehow like live with the knight on g3. I'll have a knight outpost there. The other one is gonna go somewhere. If he's gonna go there, it might even go there and there. Have this guy, this is pretty permanently stuck there, and if I use that to block the d file and I have the e file, well, they say if you control the means of transportation, you control the warfare. I don't know who says that. Probably nobody. But I said it. So it's now my quote. Probably somebody has said something about that at some point during the world history. Or very similar lines. All right, that feels like it's walking straight into the knight there. Does it matter? Probably not. We could bring this guy out first. We could harass this guy out of there now, before it's too late. I'll try to bring this out here and trade the knight that way. Is this bishop going like here? I mean, that does connect the rooks, but I guess the knight would have hit the bishop anyways if it's here. I have so many decent looking ideas. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. I feel like that I might be making those moves. Also, I could go here. What else? I don't know if I want to move these pawns at the moment. Like long term, maybe I want to get rid of this pressure here, but at the moment this guy is still supporting this knight here. Horrible arrow game here today. So if he goes here, where does the bishop go? Here, here, or just ignores the attack altogether? Here, like I was gonna say that maybe I wanna move the pawn forward and without making this a little weak. And if I make this a little weak, then I make my outpost here a little weak. But I have to somehow solve this long-term pressure here. So if I go here, they go here. I can still go here and there's no problems. Guess the problem with this kind of a plan is that maybe he just chops bishop here. Chops there. I lose the knight, which is kind of covering this at the moment, or hopefully jumps there. Like he just trades and then somehow. Of course I can swing back here. He splits my pawns there. So I'm not sure I could play this move without continuing with them. Oh, another point of this is that maybe he can play g4. I'll take bishop takes. I guess I can still move the knight here and not like a knight can protect the d2 by shielding it as well as protecting it. Let's do a developing move. Somehow like I really want to move this move. This is me overriding my instincts and doing a developing move instead. I'm gonna be so angry if this is the best move somehow. I feel like there's not gonna be much of a difference. I have to get the other knight eventually into the game, and it was like I said, I hope I can play this move at any point. I don't have to follow up with this. Let this like stuff happen. Not sure like that like is in black's interest anyways to trade the bishop, which is somewhat good. I feel like the knight is super good though. I guess it's gonna plunk there and it's gonna be a bit of a, well, active knight. I don't know whether the bishop would be as active. Like it's somehow it's annoying on this diagonal. Mainly because it keeps my rook here stuck, and like I said, I don't want to play this move. I guess we could play a3 at some point without compromising this, but suppose that's playable. I do hate like oh, That move is actually kind of a curveball into my existence. Holy macaroni. That's a good one. Oh, that is a good one. It's now like, how you're shielding it now because I went there in between. Oh, that's a dirty curveball, man. Dirty, dirty curveball. I guess I could go here and try to bring the other knight there. I'm not super concerned by taking and activating my rook here on a file and losing this bishop. As long as I'm covering this, I'm happy, and we are doing it twice now. Can't do stuff like here and here and here and takes. Because I can go here, have this covered. If it takes, I can come back, have it covered. And somehow you see that I'm really obsessed by the rook getting to the second file. Because, well, they're just pain in the something. They happen. I'm a bit annoyed by the fact that the rook got here, so I think my knight or the knight d4 was probably the better move anyways. Instincts. Never ignore your instincts. They're always right. Ay, 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 ay. I didn't realize the reason why they were right that time. And I'm not sure that even is the problem, but it's somehow annoying at least. Yeah, chess is not like a brain game at all. It's all about instincts. You should never ever use your brains, or think. Just do the move that looks right. This also is actually kind of threatening a humongous fork here. Didn't even consider that fact when I went here. I'm so obsessed by this square that like a huge threat is actually just oblivious to me. Guess he could play b6 and say no. Then I could plunk the knight there and be happy. I mean, there's no reason black would be worse here though. They have an annoying knight here. Then a bishop seems pretty good. They haven't done anything too sinful. A little bit of a overextension in front of the king, but without the queens, that's hardly a problem. They have one file. They have plunked my file. I'm gonna plunk their file. Ooh. Could I somehow trap the rook? If I go here, we are kind of trapping it, but it has suddenly a square there. I guess we are now controlling this. We could maybe think about sticking the knight there. Now I'm starting to see the actual tactics he was threatening. Takes here, takes the knight. I'm lucky there that I have a move like here, probably saves my day, but I should have just actually spotted that at some point, that is a possible threat. Horrible, horrible. Oh. Bishop takes, never mind. This knight I was gonna, never mind. Never mind, so he's in agreement, well, that was a problem. So, should we just continue here? Bishop goes d5 maybe. Or should I kick the rook out while we are controlling this square? Go here. Because if I go here, maybe he plunks the bishop there. I could swing the rook in here. We have the knight covering each other and blocking this. And this, keeping this still. So this looks good. Here we are kicking the rook away, but what's the follow-up? Like somehow, where does the rook go? Maybe here. You can follow up with the double here, and you're also kind of covering the knight there. Guess if double here, 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 here. We could take, let's say take, go knight here, then a7 and e7, fork, rooks here. Rook could go here. Also, if I use the knight, the knight is still here, right? In that line, use this knight. Yeah. I could also drive away that knight now. Also possible, but I don't know. It's a bit loosey-goosey square here. Because here I'm not 100% sure how to... Like the bishop is annoying, see it here. It hits my knight, which is covered. I should just move, god damn it. I should just move. Dog damn it. I don't know. I want the rook out of my life. Can I like just push them all away? King f2, knight here. Is there some kind of a, or does the knight actually go here instead and go towards here? Maybe. Okay, let's see what happens here. I could also just play the knight here after the rook moves away. Blank the d-file. Then deal with this and, I don't know, continue something. Down to 3 minutes. We have the 10-second increment, which means, of course, that we get the 10 seconds for all the moves we make until the end of days. It's not much, the complicated positions in the end, so should not get too low on time. I don't see anything funny for them this moment. The rook is hanging. There's no checks, there's no takes now. No counterattacks, like he could not take here and force me to take back and get the rook here. So, I'll do it. I'll just do it. Or should we go with this plan? Rook here. Chop. Chop. Why did... Oh, he went there instead. I was calculating these lines. Okay, that's the difference. He's covering this knight c6. What's the difference? That my knight is not attacked, so we could actually use this rook too. But I don't know, like I'll take, go here. Not sure that helps me in any way. I'll do this. Irresponsible. That again, I used like way too much time for a move that I already had picked. Kind of. Well, actually not, since that was the other option. I did not consider move a rook d6, which is probably a logical move. Supports the bishop, covers the c6 jumps. Seems all logic. Guess they could go here and blank my knight away from here. Actually true. And then he's kind of like maybe invading there. Can I like there? If knight here. Could we play like real simple chess and I go here, cover the knight's rook jump here, or the d2 again, and again go for the blockade while hitting the bishop. He could again do the annoying move rook d3, get out of the, or on the other side of the knight here. We could still do it, hit the bishop and then maybe trade the rooks away. Have a knight, pretty good looking knight, but it's not obviously super dominating against the bishop. Like it might be, but it's not clear cut. Oh, somehow we have lived so long with the knight there. Sometimes you can live with a really disturbing knight. I hope it doesn't actually finish the game somehow, like I miss some tactic or... We have the knight jumps to c6 now, but not sure they do much. Oh, he goes that side, so he's going there. Well, that makes sense. I could take the bishop now. A rook takes, then go here. Try to get the other knight there, back there. Knight here doesn't look good. I don't want to play a3 because then I give that bishop a hole there. Guess it's not a problem as long as I have them. I wanted to play this to be ready to meet that guy already. a5. I was thinking this, but could I play a4 and somehow like start to squeeze on this side? I have a majority there. a4, knight f4. I have no time to think this though. a5. Let's do a5. I feel like it might be a mistake. It is a light squares. They have a light square bishop, but I don't know. It seems a little early to start blocking it to the light square. I don't know, it's too early. I could also take again if it does that. Get rid of that bishop so it's not gonna go here and be a nuisance. If he does a5. If he goes there, I might push the pawn anyways. Minute on the clock, that's bad. The knight is gonna be a real pain there though to get rid of. Like it's just gonna be there. It's threatening to go some days there. At the moment I have the knight there, but not the stable square maybe. Or is this gonna just help black to get a open b file there? Maybe. At the moment I'm covering this, so I don't have to worry about this. Not sure. This seems off. I don't know. I didn't know how to, if he just blunks, goes there. I can't let the rook get here with the knight there. But now I'm regretting the a4 quite a lot. I'm covering this at the moment, so I'm hoping that's fine. If rooks double there. I was thinking of going here. Maybe it's nothing, he goes there. Ay. What else? Guess they could even go here and hit this guy here. Disgusting. There was some bishop knight here, so those are actually decently annoying. I have a centralized knights. Those have to be worth something. They are also kind of blocking my rooks, so bit weird. I don't know. This is probably a mistake. If we can play here, I'll go here. He goes there. I have nothing because I have pinned this guy badly. All right. I feel like I wanna take that. Let's just take it. It's there. It's annoying. I'll go here. Hit h6. Feel like there's no, there is the knight d3 that might be something, but I think I can go here if it does that. There is the rooks hanging here, so I'm not sure he has time to go for this. I mean, maybe he can do this and drop the pawn here with some kind of a counterplaying ideas of getting to the second rank. That would be strong, like hang the h6 for fun. But now I probably get to the HC file. Or the, he gets to this there though. Well, can't win it all. I'm feeling like if he goes there, maybe I can play here, take there, go there. Let him go there. And also the rook there. It's gonna be a complete mess of a mess. Complete mess of a mess. Can't really stop it because the knight is there. Unless somehow like I go here. Rook here, I can play g3 and win the rook. Okay, let's do it. Why not? It's a bit of a threat here. I was thinking maybe he can play here and... Is there gonna be some kind of mating ideas at some point, like knight here? Or h4, knight to g3. Knight to g3. I can go here. Let's just play some fast moves. Get some time on the clock. Oh, but now he's walked into a fork here. Can't go there. Then I get the a file and, or the a pawn and, or the b pawn and. It is just over and out. Maybe this way. Because I saw, well, I don't know, this is probably a little too fancy-mancy, but I was looking at like if I go here a5, I go back, maybe the knight can defend the b pawn. Looked okay, but whatever, man. I don't want to give him anything. I just want to take, I don't want to give anything. But of course rook should completely outplay the knight. Now we get the a pawn and defend our a pawn, and I don't know, now I don't care about the c pawn at all. I can just push through the a pawn. I can go for the c pawn, but I can defend that. Or I can just run the a pawn. Looks pretty hopeless for the poor knight to stop that. Which way do we take? Let's take with the a pawn, because the flank pawns are the the most painful for the knight to stop. I could defend that pawn though. Let's not do it. I don't care. I'll go here, completely dominate the knight. Well, take away one square, complete domination, whatever. But it's a pretty important square. All right, let's look at that. That was again. I was probably in some kind. Well, I don't know if I was actually in trouble. Somehow looked pretty annoying. So this is all theory. Here, knight f3 is the main move. Queen e2 is the other line. But like I try to preserve the bishop, but it's very hard. Here you can probably trade it to this guy, but then you have some actual problems with this thread here. Like I think black's better here. Actually quite annoying to cover. And I don't know if it's an actual problem, but like annoying anyways. So this is kind of, well, you could move the bishop somewhere, but it's still problem. Bishop c5 here, 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 here. Computer loves the black side here somehow. White is a bit passive. Black has the problem here, but it's not much of a problem. If you do something like this, then bang, bang. I don't know why you would take that way, this way. I mean, looks pretty decent to my eye, but bang, 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 bang. Knight e4. We go here. We lost. Okay, that was nonsense. Let's ignore it. This looks, of course, kind of weird to give up the light squared bishop, but what can you do? So the alternative is bishop e3 is more solid, maybe. I knew this is risky, but I want to see what happens. And this is very, very risky pawn to take. Instantly goes for discoveries on the queen. Computer, I think, wants the bishop queen h5, and then you can play, I think, here and start to go for this is the one line. Also apparently g6 and sack another pawn, but this gets weird. I don't even remember what the hell is going on here, but computer says this somehow equal, even though it looks super dangerous. I can't remember this at all. Bishop g. So instead of taking the pawn here, this is probably more safe, but this is not fun either. This computer thinks white is slightly better here. My opponent played knight h5, which is actually the second played most move here. This is more popular. g4 actually makes sense, yeah. Leave white with some real stinky pawns. Of course, black has some problems of their own too. Not fun. Maybe threatening a check there. Best move, block the check, says computer. Yeah, it's not horrible. It's weird though. Here, what Mr. Machine wants to do here? Knight d4. Why not? Apparently taking here is a big mistake, and by big I mean small mistake. Takes right, I have to take there. Now it says doesn't matter which way you do. I thought this is more logical because the knight is annoying here. But it somehow it didn't. It looks annoying, but it didn't do so much. So look, sometimes something paper tiger. I mean it's probably a good knight anyways, but maybe it's a bit of a paper tiger here. Here, let's see what Mr. Machine says, because here my instinct said play here. Now my instinct and top move are kind of even out. Knight bd2 says that this, which I kind of didn't like. Apparently this is also the top move, getting the other bishop here, and yeah, not minding this at all. Get this. This is not a bad structure probably, and we get the rook activated instantly, and then we can again. Well, I don't know. Now I have a problem with that if I block, then he gets in. Apparently, computer says no problems, just hang the b pawn, but I would not have done that. I would probably not have done that either. Oh, rook e7. This I might have probably done, since we did it in the game too. Alright. But in hindsight, maybe knight here. Because then though we don't have to deal with the rook swinging in, which I thought was kind of nice find from my opponent. Even if it was not actually a problem, but nice find anyways. Can't block me if I'm in. Yeah, okay, computer doesn't mention the b6 and this being a problem. Actually, it deals with the same thing in 3 different ways. Actually, now b6 starts to rise up, but computer would deal with the c5 with the either rook move or just take the bishop knight. Says this might be even the best. Or rook c8, cover the c5. It seems a little funny to me though. Like, what the hell is the rook doing on c5? Other than covering the c5. It looks a bit funny to me. Okay, here we also had some options. Here. Now not covering this, so the rook, if I go there, of course the rook goes in and then it's dead. And also I was looking at this stuff here too. Maybe the best, like computer says this is best, but I guess that looked annoying though. Because I'm not super 100% sure what does the knight do there. Like, it's already completely dominated, so again computer is kind of baffling that they wants to go here, like why? I mean, I guess it's kind of covering d4. Okay, that makes sense. Like, you're not going anywhere, but you're defending a square, so if I go here, black can take, and if I take, they get in. Here we have a block though, so computer says this is equal. Big knight, big bishop versus the big knight. Who's the biggest? Dead match between the two very dominant pieces. Fine. They went in, I went there. So swing this guy around here. Okay, this was probably bad. Computer actually says the best move, but because I came to the realization after this move that I can't just go here and let this happen. I did see b4, but I felt like that's also weakening. Computer says, nah, let's just play the rook c5 and it's all good, buddy. Takes, and then we suddenly have a kind of a painful pawn there. Yeah, I don't see any of that. I saw like this and this far, and I thought like, looks a bit shaky, buddy. Apparently not. And if I was not gonna play a4, then I should probably not have done this. Like instead maybe a3. How bad is that? It's not like this of course is not the most ambitious setup ever, and we have an extra pawn on this side, so felt like the first side that made sense to me, that we wanna trade maybe a pawn and make a passed pawn there. But then I decided otherwise. They went there, chop, chop. I felt that's hard to defend if I don't take the bishop. Knight there, chop. Here I was thinking that maybe you can sack the pawn. King h7, I go somewhere, I don't know, here, and then he goes in. And that is true, black is actually better here. So here it says that I should not take the pawn. I should go here. If he goes there, defends the knight, then I can take both. Oh, gets the knight out. But this is not good. Except computer says it's fine, but I'm up a pawn though. Apparently it's nothing. Whatever, man. Apparently all this is nothing also. King f2, like why would you go into a check though? Like none of this makes sense to me. Computer, you're completely hopeless. But this is not another good move, even though it did win me the game, but g3 again. Some of the knight is out of the game here. Now you have no ins. Here he should just do something else. Let me take here. Let me take there. Okay, he gets some stuff back with the mate threat. Isn't this very, very dangerous looking? I guess he has a hard time getting the knight there to complete the mating net. And I am on that g pawn too. Probably not. g4. I guess he is making some kind of mating net that way. Or maybe here all the pawns are so big that it's just gonna... end up in some kind of a draw eventually. That's hanging kind of there. Yeah. Yeah. I have to worry about the knight too first too, so can't go for the pawns either. Whatever. Yeah, all this was just of course blunder because he didn't see that. Here you have no block, you have to go into a fork. Then it's pretty much over and out. Rook's too strong in this kind of endgame. Knight has no chances at all. I could have gone here. I thought rook b8 is cuter, but computer says just go there. Let this happen. Oh, we make the passed pawn instantly. Okay, nice. Chop, chop, a5. I mean, maybe they reach the king there, but then I'll go with the other side and no lights out. And I don't know if I didn't have to give up the pawn either. Like leave it somewhere there and then go with the other side. Yeah, no good at all. Yeah, he did some moves, but yeah, there's just no hope. Rook's too strong and the a-pawn is also really bad for the knight. Flank pawns, they're really bad for the knight. Like there's only one side of trying to stop them, and it's so easy to try to dominate them. Alright, that was an interesting game. I actually played high accuracy. I made one inaccuracy, knight here. Instead, I'm supposed to play g3. My winning move is inaccuracy, and one mistake, queen here. Instead, we should have just taken the bishop, live with the knight there, plunk this guy here, let this come here, and queen f3, queen c2. I mean, we have a nice knight there. They have a really nice knight there. I don't know, some kind of attack also. Maybe. Queen d7. It's like hinting about some kind of knight sack here. Queen d1. Let's make a stupid move. Can they sack here? I believe they can sack, but it's only a perp. Meh. Alright, well, that's too long. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Ciao.